Hey, and welcome to my channel. My name is Chrissy Hodges, advocate for OCD, author of Pure OCD, The Invisible Side of Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, doing peer support worldwide to help support people, walk alongside them as they are moving towards recovery for OCD, and providing referrals for therapists all over the world. It's good to see you here. This is a tough topic, so being here is a huge step for you. Some things might relate to you, some things might not, some things may even trigger you on this topic, but I just want you to know I'm proud of you, that you are here, you're learning a little bit more about your experience, and reaching out to feel normalized means you have hope. And hope is what we need for recovery and to continue walking that path. NoCD in OCD is an app. They also have lots of different features inside of the app for you to connect to people, meet people with OCD, and other great features. They also do telehealth, and they do it in really a lot of different countries, including every state in the US. So go over to treatmyocd.com and check out what they have to offer. So today I wanted to talk about a topic that I may have already talked about this, but I'm just gonna angle it a little bit differently. I wanted to talk about hyper-awareness of our bodies. So we already know the hyper-awareness in the body can come with having groinals, it can come with having urges, it can come with mimicking symptoms of health anxiety, meaning I'm worried I might have a brain tumor, and so I'm waking up every morning and having a little bit of a headache. So what does that mean? And then that can blow up into something more. I'm worried that it can mimic mental symptoms. So a lot of times when people are worried about psychosis, they may think that they're seeing things, or they may think that they've heard things, or they may question, things that are in their head about whether that's something that is being talked to you instead of something that you're thinking. So all of these things are part of our body becoming or being included in the pattern of OCD. So this is super typical, okay? It's normal. It doesn't matter what the theme is. When we talk about the groinal and urges, of course, the groinal is when erogenous areas in your body react when you're having sexual intrusive thoughts. It can also happen with harm intrusive thoughts. I mean, hell, it can happen with anything. A lot of times people they'll read the word like religion or God, and then all of a sudden they get the groinal and they're like, oh my God, what does that mean? So it doesn't have to be just sexual intrusive thoughts. It can just be reading something that you feel like you shouldn't have any sexual feelings about, and then all of a sudden you feel something fire in an erogenous zone in your body. This can include anything. It can include groin, it can include your back end, it can include your breasts, it can include your mouth, anything that would be erogenous, right? So you can't really have control over how that fires. Then you start checking, and then you start rechecking, and there you go. Now, sometimes whatever the word is, or whatever the image is, or whatever is like fused to your groin, or fused to whatever area that's firing, and then you think, oh my God, that's proof. Similarly, with harm, people will say that they experience urges. So the urges are, the best example would be, okay, I see a knife on the counter. I am worried that what if I snap and I kill my partner, or I kill my child, or I kill whoever's in the house with me, my dog. So what happens is you see the knife and they're desperately like, I gotta stay away from the knife because I'm so scared. What if something happens? Well, then you might feel yourself pulling toward the knife, right? Oh my God, I think my hand just moved. Boom, there's an urge. That's what we call an urge. Okay, or, if your body is close to, if you're having sexual orientation OCD, and my body is close to a female, I might have this, oh my God, what if I lose control and grab her leg or grab her boob or something? That would feel like an urge. The greatest urge that I've ever had is, when I worked for a company, instead of working for myself, we used to have these staff meetings, and this would happen every time. They would be serious. There'd be like 15, 18 of us sitting around in this room, and every single time, if I was sitting by a man, I would have this feeling of, oh my God, what if in the middle of the meeting, I reach over and grab his penis? And of course, I did not want to do this at all, or I didn't want to grab anything. But my hand would be on the table and I would feel it moving. And I'm like, oh my God, my hand's going to move. What if I can't control it? What do I do? So the compulsion that I would do would be to sit on my hands, right? Even though I'm sweating over here, I'm like pouring sweat, like penis grabber. What am I? But, eventually I got to do some exposure response prevention for that, and it was fine. There was no penis grabbing going on because, again, it's not a real threat. It's just your brain saying that there is a threat and you're reacting with compulsions. So with all that said, we all know about that. I've done a lot of videos on that, but I want to talk about hyper awareness of other parts of our body, of other people that may come in contact with your body. So I hear this a lot, but you don't hear this being talked about a lot because it's not really taboo. It's just, I think some people just don't know how to talk about it, or they don't want to talk about it because, yeah. So people may have feelings like you're aware of different parts of your body. My dogs are playing with squeaky toys right now, so if it gets a little crazy over there, that's all that's going on. People become very aware of their body parts in kind of space and time, right? So if it can be any body part. We're not just talking about erogenous zones. Okay, we're talking about hips, we're talking about hands, we're talking about toes, we're talking about elbows, wrists, anything that can come in contact with another human, or it may come in contact with an animal, things that you're focusing on as your theme. So for example, let's say, hold on a second. Come here, guys. Come here. Okay, there we go. The squeaky, I can't. So let's say I'm having intrusive thoughts about one of my dogs, okay? And I regularly cuddle with my dogs, right? At night, when I'm done, I jump on the couch, I turn on the TV, and they come up and snuggle with me. Well, sometimes I'll get intrusive thoughts. Sometimes I'm like, why is she laying on my boob? And then it's like, oh my God, what if this, what if that, right? So I know y'all remember the video where I talked about my dog's Red Rocket. That was great. So anyway, so I might have I might think to myself, oh my gosh, so my dog is right here under my arm. It's right by my boob. Like, what am I going to, and then the other one's down by my crotch, laying, and they're all laying. They don't know any different. I don't know any different because there's nothing wrong with dogs laying on you, right? But if I am becoming hyper vigilant and hyper aware of where my body is in space in relation to intrusive thoughts that I might have, I might think to myself this, oh my God, did I just move my boob towards the dog? Did I just move my groin towards the dog? And then you get stuck in the loop of, did I? I don't know if I did. I can't remember correctly. Should I try it and see if I did? And then maybe I would remember, oh, boom, and there you go. Then it's, oh no, I acted on it, right? I mean, you didn't act on it. You're checking and rechecking. Checking and rechecking and compulsions is not acting on thoughts, by the way. I know acting on thoughts is the eye of the beholder, right? Meaning, you could say, nobody with OCD acts on thoughts, but you can be like, oh my God, like I touched, if I have sexual orientation OCD and I touched a girl's shoulder, I acted on it. No. It's compulsions. So if I'm in that scenario and then I go, well, I'm gonna move just to see if I moved because I'm trying to check. All of a sudden now, oh no, this is proof. I'm guilty. I'm shamed. I acted on the thoughts. Oh no, like bestiality. Rah. So it can melt down into something that really just was my dogs were cuddling with me and I got a little weird about it. But instead of making it irrelevant, which is what we want to do with intrusive thoughts, I bought in. Where's my body? Why is my body, did I get a groinal? Why did the dog just move his face? Why didn't I move the dog, right? Why didn't I move the dog? Does that mean I like it? Oh my God, what is this? Right, so I use the dog as an example because we all know what I'm about to say. This all can go in any direction. Family members, kids, babies, the same sex, the opposite sex, depending on if you have sexual orientation OCD, whether you identify as straight or gay. It can happen with anything. And you find yourself being so hyper aware of everything that is going on in your body. Did it move? What does that mean? I posted this on Instagram actually yesterday. You're sitting here at dinner, and then all of a sudden the table starts to get crowded and your knee touches the person next to you and you go, oh my God, did I do that on purpose? Or you're at a family gathering, or, you know, and everybody's coming around and they're hugging, and a little kid comes up and hugs you, and you hug and you come in and you think, oh my God, why did I press my boobs up against him? Why did I thrust? Did I thrust? Thrusting is a big one, by the way, because obviously thrusting is the sex movement. So women or men, it does not matter. You know, the thrusting piece is, did I thrust? So if you're hyper aware of whether you're thrusting your area down there, you're likely to thrust. I mean, something's gonna move, right? And so people can feel this with other people, with animals. They can feel it if they're just sitting there and someone walks by and they're like, oh my God, did I just thrust toward that person? And then you get into, did someone see me thrust? I don't know. Let me thrust to see if I would know if I thrusted. You see where I'm going with this? Then it's the, did I thrust or not? Who did I thrust to? How do I know if I thrusted? Was it intentional thrust? I mean, the shit gets out of control, people. So, I mean, it's not funny, but it kind of is. I mean, I've been in the thrust cycle before, so I feel like I can laugh at it. But the hyper awareness takes OCD to the next level of, this must be proof. This is why it's such a, I don't want to say dangerous because that sounds scary, but it is. Because what happens is it goes from having thoughts, you're having thoughts, and you're having this, oh my God, it just went into my body. So what does that mean? That must be proof. You see what I'm saying? It's one step after another. Once it enters the body, then there's physical proof that this isn't OCD. And as I always say, we are so happy to find out that it is OCD, but then the next step is, let me Google this shit to death to find out I don't have OCD. Are you in that stage right now? Are you watching this video to find out you don't have OCD? Because that is typically what is happening. People then start to prove they don't have it because it feels too real for it to be OCD. And when it moves into your body, and this hyper awareness, that's when it really feels so real that you become ashamed. You feel guilty. You don't want to tell anyone. I picked up my daughter or my son and they wrapped their legs around me, and I can't remember if like I moved my elbow toward their crotch. I can't remember if I purposely put them down on my lap. Did I want them near my crotch? These are the kind of questions that start happening where you're questioning your intentions because you're questioning your body in space. Okay? So this is so common, and I know you thought you were alone. I know you did. I want you to hear me when I say that this can do with any, I mean, this can be like, I'm going to hug my dad or something, and all of a sudden, my dad's real tall, so his, you know, oh my God, how do I say this? Like, it's up higher, right? And so like, oh my God, I hugged. Oh my God, what part of my body moved toward that? You know, where you hug, like when I had sexual orientation, I would hug a woman. I'd be like, oh my God, did I want my boobs to be on the same level as theirs? What does that mean? What does that feel like? Oh my God, did I get a groin when my boobs hit hers? All of this stuff, okay? So being hyper aware of where your body is in space and hyper aware of the movements to the point you don't even know that you moved. This is what I'm talking about. Did I move? Did I not? Which then turns into real event or false fucking memory, OCD. So this encompasses a lot. Now you don't know that you're remembering something correctly. Now you don't know if it was actually a real event. Was it? I think it was a real event. And oh my God, I may have moved my elbow a little bit or moved my knee when I sat by that person just to test. That is a compulsion, peeps. That's all it is. It's a compulsion. And I know you don't want to believe me and you want to think, no, it's proof that I acted on it. No. No. It is a compulsion, okay? Here's what I want to end with. I could go into 1,000 different examples, okay? 1,000. But I want you to hear me. Our bodies become part of the OCD experience. When we become hyper aware and hyper fixated on what it's doing, where it's moving, and what that means, this opens up a huge door to go into real event, false memory, all of this kind of stuff, okay? My message to you is this. You think you are alone. You think you've acted. You think you're a monster. You think you should have shame and guilt. You don't have to. Because this is so common. You're looking at someone who dealt with it. I talk to people all the time that deal with it. Please know this is not the sign that tells you it's not OCD. You deserve help. You deserve treatment. You deserve recovery. And any sort of hypervigilance in space isn't and shouldn't be the reason why you don't pursue it. I hope this helps. Remember, this could be triggering, and that's okay. But I just wanted you to know that you're not alone. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Oh, by the way, go to ChrissyHodges.com if you're looking for services.